Yo,
Yo, so it's your boy LK. You see me, got some news on my chest. We're here live in Mexico doing the recording. Looking forward to this, and let's start. Let's go.
nice introduction. Nice to have you here, man.
Of course.
That's Leva Konaté, legend from Monterrey, or from Amsterdam, actually. He's studying with my brother, exchange student, one of my brother's best friends, but he became a good friend of mine as well, to be honest. He's the coach of the international football Rapido team, so 6 against 6, and additionally, he's the coach of the girls as well. So he has a good mindset. I really love to talk about you right now in the next minutes, and it's gonna be good.
Nice.
But if you don't mind, would you introduce yourself, like early childhood, some things that could be interesting?
yes, no, I will. So I'm like Leva for Amsterdam, 20 years old. I grew up in Amsterdam, lived there all my life until I was 19. My dad is from Mali. He grew up there. Then he, like around his 30s, he came to Netherlands. Met my mother. She's Dutch. I have a little brother, 19.
What's his name?
Madu Konaté. Shout out Madu. And I was always into football. Like you said, now I'm a coach for the girls team, captain of our team. So I played like at a very high level. I want to become a professional football player. I think like every other guy, I think I was a bit close to it, but in the end I thought like, okay, it's not gonna work. I'm not good enough. So I luckily at my university, my bachelor. Finished my bachelor, went to exchange on England. Then I figured out, okay, like an exchange, it's so enlightening, like it's so nice to do. Like you meet all these nice people. Maybe you wouldn't hang out with like on a normal basis. So that's like, okay, I want to go abroad, do my master abroad. But in the end, I ended up in Rotterdam, did my master's there, very nice. And now I'm in Monterrey and I'm living my life and I'm loving it. And yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell.
Glad to hear that. The main thing that fascinates me regarding Leva is his charisma. He's like always positive, like has always this positive vibes, and of course, he's the captain, he's the coach, so he has to have this kind of thing. It's like a characteristic. He's doing it pretty good, to be honest.
Thank
but you forgot one thing. What are you studying actually?
What I was studying, that's interesting. I studied, my bachelor was in public administration and organization sciences, and now my master was, like I'm already graduated, was in media and business. So I found it really interesting to connect digital media, like kind of you can compare with digital marketing, because I'm also really interested in entrepreneurship. So I did both of my bachelor thesis and my master thesis in entrepreneurship, about entrepreneurship, because this is my own company, clothing, you see.
Feel free to shout out once again.
Katsandus.com. No, I'm kidding, but like I was very interested in entrepreneurship and to creating something out of nowhere. You can just put your own vision and your own thoughts in it. So that's what like caught my attention, like, and what I want to do in my future life as well. So I was like starting slow with this t-shirt, see how this goes, people like it, interested in, like I create like a brand out of it, and I want to do it over the years with other stuff and creating new businesses as well. So like it's the first step, I would say.
So you're definitely a doer. You just want to do stuff and creating.
Yeah, and like adding value to other people's life, that'd be nice.
What is really interesting, remember one day or one early morning in Guadalajara, we're just chilling on the bed next to each other, talking, and then he was like, hey, yeah, let's exchange knowledge. And he was telling me that every time he's reading a book, like after 100 pages or something, he's summarizing it. So he's like making a small summary, chapter by chapter, and the most important thing that he did it. And this document is kind of astonishing because it has like 114 pages, and I don't know how many books are included there.
Yeah, I don't know myself.
But
I would say a lot, but not as much as I would like to. So
it's okay, man. But man, I admire that, because I love reading, like educating myself, and but I never did something like this. That's a complete another level. Would you recommend this to everybody to do this? Or why are you doing this?
Would I recommend this? I would recommend this to anyone who is interested in reading non-scientific books, like we'll actually read to get like knowledge and new stuff. If you're interested in that, then I would really recommend it, because I started it because I felt like when I read a book, I just read it and I finish it and it's done. It's nice, but you don't only have you have to, when you write, you can also put it like you capture it kind of. So you write and you go over it, you go back, and then you have a document, and whenever you want, you can just go to the document. I have like a nice overview, so I can very quickly, easily like look up what I wrote and I know where it is. So I just go to the document, and then I can see like the main takeaways are there for me. So I just like keeps like me like refreshing myself about the book, and that I think is really nice. And it's like now it's like kind of disciplinary thing to do. With all the books, also it's nice for me. I see the overview. I see the subjects I'm reading. Like I see like a pattern I'm following. Sometimes in the beginning it was like purely like entrepreneurship books, like for it, like Think and Grow Rich or Rich Dad Poor Dad, like these basic books. And then I went more into like societal topics, political. So it's really nice to see the shift as well, and like what kind of books. I was for a while I was reading physics books about the universe, because I'm interested in a lot of things. So then I would say really recommend it if you're interested in it. Like, it will really benefit you. But like it takes up some time as well. Like you have to make time for it, because sometimes I'm just typing and I'm like, fuck this, I don't want to do it, because it's nice, but it's not the most exciting thing. But when you're finished, it's like, okay, nice, now I can go over it, and you learn actually a lot. You learn a lot from books. I learn a lot from books, like sometimes more than what I learned in school, because it's more like how you interact, how you communicate. If what you already said about me having the characteristic about myself, like being charismatic, and of course it might be a bit true, but also because of the books, I know like, okay, and I want like being maybe an example for other people and to inspire people. So I also read the books to know like, okay, how do I act with people? How do I treat people? How do I get the best out of people? Via what ways do I achieve that? And that's like what I want to implement. Also, like why I want to teach the girls, to coach the girls, is because I want to build on this like leadership capacities. Like I don't know how to say it, but like I want to build like in that way as well. So that's a really nice challenge to see, and it's paying off nicely. We're winning everything and training. They like the training, so it's also nice for me to see. Okay, like it's on a good way, and just keep going.
Man, yeah. That's just, I love that, for real. I have nothing to add. You should do that. Like if you haven't done that and you're into books or reading, just do it. How often are you going through your summary, if I can ask?
That's a very good question. I think not that often. Like I would say, whenever I write in something new, I'll go back over the previous ones, and sometimes I'm thinking about a topic, or like I like to think about bunch of stuff, and I think, okay, what was this concept again, or what does it relate to? So I go back to the document, I open it, and I read through it, and like, oh yeah, okay, and then I have it in my, so I wouldn't say every week, but like because now I'm also reading less. I used to read a lot more, but now I'm here and I have so much things going on. I barely read. I'm not barely, but I read less. So I go over my document also less. But in a normal like structured life, like for instance Rotterdam in my masters, doing my masters, I would say maybe like once every 2 weeks.
Once every 2 weeks, yeah?
Yeah, or something like this.
Okay, I mean, it's very humble of this man to say I read less, because I remember we're just on a 3.5 days trip in Guadalajara, and one thing that you brought with you was like this book. It was really, really thick, but I guess you read a little bit as well, so that's cool, man, that's cool. But still, of course, you're like a real ambitious man and everything, but what are you doing here?
In Monterrey, that's a very good question. Mainly in the beginning when I finished I like the question because I thought about this, and I thought multiple things. The first thing was, okay, I finished my master's at 21. I finished my master's at 21. I'm like, okay, I'm very young.
Wait. When did you start to study then?
17.
With 17?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, man.
Yeah, I was very young. So I finished my master's when I was 20 young, and I knew what I wanted to do. I already had this clothing company, but I knew like it wouldn't. I wouldn't have that much profit. I can live from it. So I was looking for a way to also, because I loved my previous exchange and I wanted to go abroad of Europe, and I think studying is the best way to do it, because you're still studying, still free time, you can meet new people, and you're abroad. So this was the perfect thing before like getting serious or before choosing a career. And now I'm also still, I think 20, 22, 21, you're still very young. So some of like, I already know like what I want to do, but a lot of people don't really know what they want to do in their life. So for me, it's also nice to look at other people do what they think from different continents, different cultures. Think from them like in the end, okay, do I still want the same thing? I come here, I see everything, and like kind of having a vacation because I know when I get back, I know I'm gonna be like structured and having a certain type of life I want to live. Mm-hmm. With the knowledge I have about, for instance, the books, which can make you more productive and stuff. Because I know here I'm sometimes saying to Elizabeth, say like, hey. What are we doing here? Like I'm just like drinking every day almost, not reading as much and everything, But I'm also learning a lot with talking to other people. But then but then at the end I agreed upon like, okay, this is kind of a vacation. Just get as much out of it as possible. Talk with as much people, connect with as much people, know more, connect. And then from there you will see, because this was also the perfect time for like a break for my next job, because I had already like a job interview before I came here.
Yeah.
And this time they needed for them, because it's a startup, they needed to put like the process and the production like installed, so they know, okay, when I get back, I can get to work, because now there wouldn't be a job for me because there's nothing really going on now. But then when I come back, then everything is already like going.
Yeah.
So then I can already start. So it's perfect for me, like this half a year. To be here and to like, because I had no knowledge about Latin America. I was also always very interested in Africa because I'm from there. But Latin America was interested, but I didn't like had knowledge about it. But now I'm having courses. I'd have never had about macroeconomics, and I think it's interesting to know as well. So just more different perspectives, and better myself in that way, so I would say.
It's all about perspective in that way. So
yeah.
Because you said that you already know what you're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Well, like I said, I'm really interested in Africa, and to lift the community up there. Because, for instance, I started this because Africa is being portrayed in the media with like, I would say, like bad publicity.
Yeah.
Lot of times wars, diseases, poverty, politics. But I want to show the people like, hey, there's not only one single-sided story, but there's a lot of beauty in Africa as well. It's not highlighted as much as I would like to. So if I can contribute to that and see like, okay, people there, they really do really nice stuff, and maybe like maybe like do documentaries there, film the life there, so people in the Western, they can see a different story as well. Because otherwise they get this very stereotypical, which is already here, of course. But maybe enforce. I don't want to contribute to like enforcing the stereotypical beliefs about Africa, but show the other side. And so it's a company owned by Dutch people, startup, which is like, they have like a field where there's like all like trees, oil seeds. From these oil trees they extract oil. And with this oil, like you can make like shea butter, like for your hair, for your skin, and we kind of make a product out of that, and like which is like very fair trade focused, environmental friendly. Like we know the source because we know the women we're working on the fields. We're even considering of making them shareholders too. So we actually help them and like teach them how to live their life, but like giving them tools maybe to better their life, how they want it to be. And because you have a lot of companies like this who are just paying for like 1 kilo of oil, like I don't know, €1, €10, and then per like 100 milliliters or 250 milliliters, they sell it for €10 per bottle. So there's a huge profit there, and I think that's unfair for the people there. So you have to give them more so they are able to do stuff themselves as well. And like we want to contribute to that. So I think that's really cool. And as a startup, I always want to be like a startup, and they give me a lot of responsibility and freedom. Like they always say, like, okay, yeah, you can figure out what you want this company to be, what the branding will look like. Are we gonna, is it B2B? Is it B2C? How do you want to do it? So that's really nice thing for me as well. And besides that, if I'm there in Africa, I know no one. My French is alright, not fluent. So it's again like going out of your comfort zone, because I really noticed like if I go out of my comfort zone, I grew like this exponentially. I think that's what I did in England, in Rotterdam, here going by myself, knowing no one, just connect like you do, because I think what you do is also very admirable. You just come here, join your brother, knowing no one except your brother. You come here, you just like connect with everyone like this, make friends like this, pop, doing a podcast, doing telling me like the 3 positive things. Like I think that's very admirable as well. I think I respect that. I already told other people like, yeah, that's cool, man. Like how you just like integrating the whole exchange people. That's very dope.
Maybe just, sorry for interrupting, because you mentioned it about the 3 positive things. That was the point when we were exchanging knowledge. He was showing me his tactics, I would say, in gathering knowledge in terms of summarizing his books. And my tactic in gathering long knowledge about myself or about life in general is every day before I go to sleep, I write down 3 positive things that I perceived as positive on this day, and I write down why I perceived them as positive. And because of that, I'm developing a more and more positive mindset, in my opinion. And I would recommend it to everybody. And he really appreciated that. So, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit off topic, but I was wondering like why a friend of mine asked me like only positive things. Why not negative things to also include in this, so you can reflect on yourself? Why only focus on the positive, not pursue the negative?
Sorry, is that a question right now? Okay, sorry. Actually, I'm writing down sometimes negative things when I experience something negatively, but if I was able to reflect on that, and if I learned something from this negative situation, I'm still writing it as a positive thing, you know?
Okay.
I perceived it still as positive because I learned something from this.
Okay, nice.
Because maybe it's a little bit too personal right now, but doesn't matter. I know when I had a girlfriend back then, like 3 years ago, and we kind of broke up, and then and here and there, drama. So it was like really confusing time for me. But still, in that moment, I was really grateful for the opportunity to experience feelings like this, because I know that these things or feelings are making me stronger. Or I'm learning through it, and I'm gonna be a help for anybody else who's going through similar situations.
That's really nice.
And that was actually the case, and I'm really grateful for it. So it doesn't matter if something negative is happening in your life. Of course, sometimes we cannot understand it. We should accept it first, but sometimes we can understand it. And if you can understand it, like, just be grateful for it. I guess, of course, you cannot generalize it to be grateful for like every fucking negative thing, but there's like this, I would say, this red line where you can just say, okay, that's okay. I accept that, you know. And but still, I don't want to talk a lot about me, to be honest.
No,
it's all about you.
Yes.
Because of your future work for this startup. You just talked about Africa. Is there a specific country you want to work, or you're going to contribute to a specific country, or how does it look like?
Yeah. So just before that, like when I'm going to work there, if it's gonna happen in the end, because it's not finalized. I don't have a contract yet. But we're talking about it. I think it might happen, but obviously it's not 100% certain. But like if I'm there, knowing no one, bettering my French, I think I have a lot of free time as well, and I want to focus then also on doing other stuff besides not only working, but like also find opportunities to connect with people and have new startups and new businesses alongside this. And and it's like in the end I want to work in Mali, or want to work for Mali, but improve Mali because that's where I'm from. But this company is in Burkina Faso, and that's just next to Mali, neighbor country, and it looks a lot like culture-wise, people-wise, looks a lot like Mali. So I really like that. And so like I would say my focus first would be like West Africa, and like going from West Africa and see from there how far we get through like the rest of Africa.
So you have this inner urge to improve the situation in Africa, or in Mali especially, right?
Yeah.
Could you maybe explain, or do you know why do you have this urge?
Yes, I've thought about it a lot. I think it's mainly because of my dad, because where he came from, like I wouldn't say it was like homeless is maybe a bit big too big. Like he didn't have like a real home, so he was like sleeping his aunt there, no money, very poor, no money for like new clothes or food and everything. So it was real poor. And then in the end, he came to Netherlands and he had a family, and I like like he wouldn't think where he grew up he would end like this. And I think that's very interesting and very I really respect that for his like what he has done. And like I want to give something back as well, you know, like he did this, he suffered so like times as well to reach it in the end. And I think like if I do this and live my life now, like I don't really do anything for me. Like I wanna do the same, make the same curve as he does, like the growth.
Yeah.
But then from my starting point, because obviously I have a different starting point. So I wanna, so I know like I know I can do a lot, and I see the people in Africa, I see my family, and I think like, hey, there's a lot of opportunities here as well. People miss out on. I want to show that to other people, and I think it's also selfish because in a way I know if I contribute to other people and I make other people happy, it will make me happy as well. But that's a win-win. So that's nice, you know. So and then like Europe is all good, but I think if I won't do this all the time, but if I have the opportunity now in my life, maybe it's soon. But I'm gonna get it because I don't know if it's gonna come later as well. So I'm already taking a very different career, I would say, than most of the people who finish their university and just go on regular jobs. But I don't really, I don't know. I think I can do more in other places where I'm more passionate about. So I think like mainly like the family, my dad, the books I'm reading, the things I've experienced in my life. Of course, like everyone can see I'm not white, so you know that also maybe means like when the schools I went to were also like if you're the higher education you go in the Netherlands, at least the whiter the school become, like the people.
Okay.
So like you experience maybe some unpleasant stuff with other people, and that also forms the way you are. So I start reading about like books about like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, about like the black empowerment, racism, how that goes. Because also like my mother is white and my father is black, so I'm always like in between cultures. And that's also something really interesting, and I think like a lot of people are struggling with that nowadays. I think maybe before as well, but I think mainly now because people are mixing. So there's like the new generation coming up with like you have mixed parents, and how do you don't really fit into that one culture, not necessarily in that one culture as well. So you have to find a way like in between and how you cope with that. And like I'm trying to do that via my own way. So yeah, these things I think really contributed to why I have the urge to help Africa, I would say.
And as far as I know, your parents are still together, right?
Yes.
Because I know that's not just in my country, in Austria or in Serbia especially. It's a thing in the whole world. Like when you're getting married with somebody else from a different culture, that it's more likely to break up again, because either one side is not that interested into another culture, or the other side is not and I just wanted to mention that for real, like, because I mean it should be normal, but it isn't nowadays. But I guess the older we get, the more generations are gonna come up, like the next years and decades, that's gonna be the most normal thing, because we're living in a globalized world. I mean, you just mentioned it, that you experienced some negative things or like experiences regarding being black. And for me, for example, or for my brother, because we grew up in a already globalized city, like we were just playing football with people from Iran, Turkey, Serbia, Russia, whatever, you know. And for me, always when I was a young kid, it was the most normal thing when I saw somebody who was black, you know. I don't have even this thought pattern like, hey, he has another skin.
And imagine like I'm from the biggest city in the Netherlands, and it's happening there. So imagine the countryside. Like obviously, the most part of the people in Amsterdam that probably don't think like that. I hope, but then you also have these people who have a different mindset, and that's completely fine. But then you have to find ways to deal with that, and how do you cope with that? You know, because obviously, like where the people where I grew up, you know, they're all foreign people almost, and now I see like, okay, you know, like it's you can learn from everyone, and I try to make friends with everyone as well. Not only stick to the people I'm from, or like these are foreigners, and like I just like to see people, like you have nice people everywhere, you know. That's what I like, and maybe I didn't see that in the beginning.
Okay, guys, sorry, but we have some weird sound in the background right now. Sorry for the interruption right now, but there were some crazy people in the Mexican streets who were selling some stuff, and
welcome to Mexico.
Whatever, doesn't matter. So where did we stop?
Yeah, I was saying about like having I opened up my mind about seeing nice people from every culture, everywhere you have nice people from every culture. In the beginning, I was more like, okay, maybe these are my people and I want to stick with them and I prefer them over the others. But now I see like, hey, that's really not true. Because it's everywhere you have like nice people from every, like it's the way how they think. That's the most important. So yeah.
I mean, I guess the generations after us and after are gonna become more and more open-minded because of this mixture, you know, everywhere. Like you got different cultures on every corner right now.
Yes.
And that's the best thing ever, like for children especially. It's gonna become the most normal thing for them. Yeah. And it is for us, I guess, already. It is for me definitely, and for you as well. I'm gonna speak for you. Still regarding, because we didn't talk about it, to be honest, but how was it for you as a child when you were realizing it or getting conscious about it, that your parents are like, your mom is from Holland and your dad is from Mali? Did you question it once, like, or was it like always the most normal thing for you?
Well, for me it was normal, but I realized it wasn't normal when people like starting, for instance, like when we were on a party and my dad wasn't there, I think, or maybe he was, but he wasn't like chilling with us at that moment. And people asked my mom like, are these your kids? Like, how come these are your kids? Because I couldn't think like, she has a black husband, and if you have kids with a black husband and you're white, your kids are brown. So like then you know like okay, so it's not really normal, or like these people think differently about it. So, but yeah, I think you really see it. So I think when you're really young, you don't see this kind of things. But when you're getting older and more conscious about it, I would say like, and primary school, high school, like definitely, then you see like, okay, like you just see the way people act, the way you look, the things I got from my culture compared to the other people, and how that like clashes or differentiates from each other. Like I'm not really, I don't really know like when I got like conscious about the fact, but like these kind of things, like my eyes got open. I was like, okay, you know, this is how it is. Interesting. I think it's really interesting as well to see how other people think about this. And I don't know, but
I was just curious. I just can't imagine that sometimes it might be a little bit different.
Definitely. But also like the way people address to you, or they talk to you, or they try to, sometimes people like try to act different when they're with you. They try to act to be more like the people, the stereotypical people from your culture, because they think, then he would think I'm cool or something. And I'm like, that's weird. Just be yourself, and I can be myself. And
always be yourself, man.
Then we don't have to have this like cringy stuff going on, and that makes you realize, okay, they not really treat me different. I don't want to say they as well. It's like some people with this kind of mindset, they think like this, and then I think it's good to go in, have a talk with them,
exactly.
just on a normal base, like, hey, I saw this and this, you know, like. For me, I got like this and this feeling where I did it. Like, is it true? Like, why did you do it? And I just have a normal conversation. Maybe they see like, okay, that's not. Maybe I can do it differently, or they stick to their mind. But then at least where they talk about it. So that's also what I try to do now.
Yeah, always. Yeah. I mean, when something, I would say, weird is going on or incorrect, just have a normal conversation. Be a little bit more empathetic and have some more understanding for it, even though this might be rude at the beginning, but if you're like, that's the best thing you can do. Just why did you do this? So why did you say this? And then okay, we're gonna have a conversation. Now you have a better mindset afterwards.
Yeah, definitely.
That's it. One other point, because we talked about, or you just mentioned being yourself. The one thing that I can definitely how do you say that? Man, I don't have the English word. Doesn't matter. What I just can admit that you're 100% yourself when you're playing football. Like always, you see that's just your thing, and you're like, I don't know, you're evolving towards a game all the time, and you're, and man, I mean, I just want to go to the topic because I love football. Football is my life as well. So sorry for this shitty introduction.
No.
But when did football come? When came football across your way?
When I was really young, I think, like my dad loved football. I watched him play. We always had the ball. I was always playing with the football at home when I was a kid, and then I think like a year before I was like legal or allowed to play football, I already played football in the team, and from that moment it was like I was really about football everywhere. Like I think like when we were younger, when you're outside, you just play football until your mom's like, hey, you have to go home, you eat now, and then you have to eat, you go back. That was like this, and then in the end I figured, okay, I can play a little bit, you know. People think I can play a bit good maybe. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. But then we moved houses, and I didn't have a football club, so I was looking for a new football club, and that club was a bit, I think I could have gone higher. Yeah, they weren't that good. So I think when I got 11, my dad said, okay, Leva, we have to put you in a new team, like a more challenging team. And then I went from maybe it's different, the divisions when you're youth in other countries, but I played third class, you would say, at like when I was 11, and then I went to a new club, and then I played first division. So it was like a big change, and then all of a sudden I played on in the weekends against Ajax, and I played against Feyenoord, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it was football, and training, and going to school, back, football, study. That was the life. In the weekend I chill a bit with my friends, and then the whole week I go football again. And that really made me the guy where I am right now, because in the environment I was in the team.
Can I just ask you which team?
It was called Zeebrugge. It's like amateur club, but it's the highest, like the best amateur club in the Netherlands, together with another club. All their teams are playing like very high. But they're all the kids there come from like the it's either like from the ghetto, I would say, a bit from Amsterdam. They were all like Surinamese, Ghanese people, and I was like, I didn't come from the ghetto, I would say, but just like not the best, but just normal. And they were different kind of guys, so I had to really, like, in the beginning it was really tough for me to get along with them and to understand and everything. And it made maybe like more, maybe I'm maybe more tough, or more like I don't know, but it also was like good discipline and gave me structure in my life, and I totally went for it, and like football was the only thing. And I'm really grateful that I did this thing. And like I gained so much from it, like which I still know and feel, like the perseverance. If I have a goal, I just go. I work for it until I want to. I think it's good, for instance. So that's really nice, and that really helped me with playing football, and like the teamwork and everything. You know, like the different dynamics in group work and everything. I think it's really nice. I think when you're a kid and you play a certain sport or an activity at a high level, and you build this discipline, you will benefit from it from the rest of your life, because you know you're able to do it and to push through hard times. Because obviously it wasn't always nice. You know, you had to work hard, and then my high school was like a different life than my football life, different people. So I really had to get used to this kind of life. But it was super cool, like to play against these teams every week, and to get for a trial, to get invited to go to a trial at a professional football club, and then you go there and then experience everything. That was really nice.
Nice one.
Yeah. No, that was definitely super cool. But yeah, that was cool.
Man, I mean, Leva is our captain, and he is the captain definitely, for real. Like, he has this, man, this captain characteristic. When you make a fault, man, he's gonna say, man, not that easy, come on. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But you need somebody like that. And I guess you gained this whole being what you're now, like, from this football thing.
Yeah, and I developed a lot, because in the beginning, for instance, at school, I was also like, okay, Leva, you're too selfish. You always go for yourself, and you have to pass the ball to other people, and don't be this harsh on yourself, and don't be this harsh on other people. And I still know what you're saying. Like, I can be very harsh on other people, because I'm also harsh on myself. And I know the best way to get a team forward is only by complimenting the team and not only highlighting the negative points, but just sometimes it's in me. Like if I say like, okay, this is too easy, or this is like really easy play, or basic stuff which goes wrong, I think then I say something to change that, to let them see, okay, this is also different, and yes. So but then I would say like I tried a lot to improve that way of coaching and more focus on the positive stuff while you're coaching other people.
And more focusing on contribution, not just the individual. Just the individual action. You were always like putting this over the individual thing.
And how do you motivate the team? How do you stick them together? We had the dispute in our team. I think you were there, right? With like almost the 5.
That was the first game. Actually.
That was the first game. And I went like, okay, how do you go from here? Like these things happen in the team. I experienced it multiple times, but now I'm actually the coach or the captain. I think okay, I'm the one responsible to. People look at me like, okay, Leva, what you gonna do? Because now you have to step up, and I'm okay. And I have to step up and like solve things. So I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna talk with this guy after this training and hear his side. Be objective. Go to the other guy. Hear what he has to say. Try to put things together as a team. We meet in the next time. I've asked the team for input. How are we going to progress? Because in the end, we have one goal and we have to go to the same direction in the end. And I think it's nice how we solved that dispute. And from that, like we skyrocketed. We won every game, and the team spirit was very good. So I'm happy that was solved, and now we're like as a real team. So that's really cool. Yeah. So that was a nice learning experience for me to experience this, and how are you doing this?
Yeah, something unexpected, negative happened inside the team. Yeah. And how can you turn this into a positive thing? And you did it like 100%. So as you already told, like the team spirit got like so tight. Yeah, it was super cool. You felt it like in every game, and I just have to excuse up front that I got off the track a little bit regarding my questions, but there were just these crazy Mexicans who were selling stuff on the street. But I guess everybody who listened or was watching this podcast has enjoyed it, because this guy is just a super interesting person, and I hope that we could do another podcast like in a few months, just to see how far you got from now. And I know that you gotta go far in your whole life, because you just feel it. You just feel the atmosphere and everything. And I'm really grateful that you took your time for it. And
of course, I'm happy to participate, man.
Gracias.
Thank you, man. Yes.
Nice one. Whoop.
I loved it. It was good, man. It was good.